Hi, and welcome back to Worm Watts, where we harness the God-given power of compost worms to transform organic waste into amazing living fertilizer. Now, today we are in this bin, which I have not introduced you to, and get ready to behold nothing. So in today's episode, we are actually going to be readying a new bin. And it's pretty exciting. I'm actually going to be working on preparing a bin that I'm hoping will be fungally dominant. And what does that mean? It means that I'm hoping that as opposed to being a bin dominated by bacterial decomposition, that this bin will really be preferably decomposed, that the contents of it will be decomposed by fungal activity. And so the way to do that is going to be to change the ratios of what we add to the bin. And so without getting too technical, I'm going to slide over to what we are going to be adding in, which is right here. This is one of the many jute sacks of leaves that I've left outside. And this one has been out there for a while. You can see how it's broken down on the back side. And it's got a lot of critters living in it. And I'm actually going to be placing it right inside of this tote, just like that. And it's loaded with dried autumn leaves. And it's become a nice little home out there for a number of little decomposers. And I'm also going to be adding in water. So I've got this large jug of water that I use. I use it to catch rainwater, to store rainwater that I catch. And so I'm going to slide it on over. Slide it on over toward the bin. And I'm just going to go ahead and drain or fill the bin with a good amount of water that will help to saturate the contents of these leaves. Now, one thing with me leaving the leaves outside is that they've been through many cycles of rain and then drying out, rain and then drying out. And in order for this to be an ideal worm bin, it needs to be moist. It needs to remain moist. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and while it opens up, I'll go ahead and explain a little bit more of what I'm going for. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up with quite a bit of water. Probably a good inch or so in there, and just kind of let it soak in. I'm going to hold it over the actual bag. And we'll just let it get nice and thoroughly soaked. And I think that's enough water. I'll go ahead and turn it off. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stir it around and make sure that the contents are well saturated. And my hope is that with the lid on it, it'll help to hold that moisture in. And because we're looking for a fungally dominant vermicompost and ultimately a fungally dominant bin, I'm going to try to reduce the amount of nitrogen that I add in. So nitrogenous materials typically come from things like food waste. They might come from things like coffee grounds, etc. So I'm going to prioritize brown materials and getting brown materials in here. And obviously you don't want to do, in my research on trying to prepare this bin, you don't want it to be completely devoid of nitrogen, because nitrogen is important even for fungal growth, for optimal fungal growth. But I am going to try to prefer to add in heavily carbonaceous materials. Oh wow, look at this. I actually think there is a skink in here. So the wildlife in these totes is quite something. So getting all kinds of stuff coming out of the woodwork. Here looks like a sow bug. But yeah, right in here, look really closely. There he goes. You can see that skink trying to get away. Not sure how it got caught in there, but yeah, so I'm hoping that the water will also help to kind of alert some of these folks that this is, I don't know if that it'll alert them that this is not a place to be, because I'm sure that they all enjoy a moist environment. So hopefully after a week or so, they'll get the idea, and we'll get the kind of folks that we're actually looking to keep in this bin. But I will go ahead and add a little more water just to saturate the bag itself. You see I'm just kind of dripping some water on there. There's the skink. This is our attempt at a fungally-dominant vermicompost, a fungally-dominant bin. And I will occasionally add in nitrogen to make sure that the fungi are able to grow optimally. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on this and just kind of let it sit for a few days. And I'm hoping that will allow some of the water to distribute throughout this bin and make it ready for the worms to be able to jump right in. Thanks for watching, and I will hope to name this bin before next time. But thank you for joining our fungally dominant bin preparation.